Hỡi các đại nghĩa sĩ tân dân chủ, hỡi các anh chị em máu thịt Việt Nam, chúng ta do dân tộc mà hình thành, vì dân chúng mà đấu tranh. Đứng dậy này, truyền cho đến mãi mãi muôn muôn về sau, là màu mỡ cho đất đai, là kết tụ của tiếng Việt, là tự hào, là di sản cho con cháu. Tinh và hồn luôn luôn cùng sông núi. Sống thì phải cho lẫm liệt, mà thác cũng phải đáng tự hào, bất khuất và hùng anh.
Trân trọng kính mời Đức Quốc công Đào Minh Quân, Tổng thống Việt Nam Cộng hòa đệ tam, cùng tất cả quý đồng nhiệm trong chính phủ quốc gia Việt Nam lâm thời đệ tam Việt Nam Cộng hòa, làm lễ chào quốc kỳ quốc ca Việt Nam Cộng hòa. Bắt đầu.
Cả chú ơi, chào tay, chào.
Này công dân ơi, đứng lên đáp lời sông núi, đồng lòng cùng đi hy sinh tiếc gì hơn sao, vì tương lai quốc dân cùng sống và khói tên, làm sao cho núi sông từ nay luôn vững bền, cho thấy phơi trên gương dao.
Chúng tôi trân trọng kính chào Đức Quốc công Đào Minh Quân, Tổng thống Việt Nam Cộng hòa đệ tam, và kính chào quý khán giả. Trân trọng kính mời Đức Quốc công và quý vị cùng chúng tôi nghiêm trang dâng lời cầu nguyện. Chúng con là các thành viên đồng nhiệm của Chính phủ Quốc gia Việt Nam lâm thời đệ tam Việt Nam Cộng hòa. Nguyện xin đấng tối cao, Thượng Đế, Trời Phật và hồn thiêng sông núi, các bậc tiền nhân anh hùng dựng nước và giữ nước, xin phù hộ độ trì ban phước lành cho chúng con, xin che chở cho đất nước và đồng bào thân yêu của chúng con được thoát khỏi cộng sản và nạn chiến tranh tàn phá. Xin bảo vệ Đức Quốc công Tổng thống Đào Minh Quân và tất cả những nhà ái quốc chân chính. Xin cho chúng con thêm khôn ngoan, đoàn kết, nhẫn nại, can đảm, sáng suốt để cùng với Chính phủ Quốc gia Việt Nam lâm thời đệ tam Việt Nam Cộng hòa dẫn đưa dân tộc Việt Nam vượt qua cơn hiểm nghèo đến bến bờ hạnh phúc, vinh quang, trường cửu, mọi nhà được an hưởng thái bình, thịnh trị của thời Thượng Ngôn Thánh Đức. Xin gìn giữ và tôi luyện cho chúng con tinh thần Việt Nam chân chính. Sống thì phải cho lẫm liệt, mà thác cũng phải đáng tự hào, bất khuất và hùng anh, đúng theo gương sáng của vị lãnh đạo tinh thần của chúng con đã tuyên xưng.
Nam được thái bình, đem ấm no cho dân ta hết một đời lầm than. Việt Nam tân dân chủ, triệu người đồng tâm đi tới, khắp chốn muôn nơi đem tâm huyết tỏ thắm núi sông, xóa bóng đêm đen cho dân có nhân quyền tự do. Vững chí tiến bước, dân Việt Nam anh dũng kiên cường, tay trong tay ta nào ngày chỉ muôn vàn gian khó. Thắp sáng anh đua tân Việt Nam soi sáng muôn nhà, cho tương lai thăng hoa nước non Việt ngàn năm sáng.
The Third Republic of Vietnam. Provisional National Government of Vietnam. Standing Office. Regain ancestral land, end populist suffering. PO Box 2807, Anaheim, California 92814. Training Articles. Reflecting on the Past to Together Eliminate Communism. First article. Date: May 6, 2023. On December 15, 2022, the Communist Party of Vietnam, CSVN, once again, voiced its opposition to being included in the Special Watch List for Religious Freedom by the United States. However, they should have faced more severe legal consequences, instead of just being placed on a list. This is because the CSVN has committed heinous crimes such as robbery, kidnapping, detention, interrogation, murder, and threatening, causing immense psychological distress to the people within the country, with clear evidence to support these accusations. According to the laws of the United States, apart from individuals holding positions and responsibilities that require contact with the Communist Party, such as diplomatic engagements, monitoring, investigations, and so on, in order to fulfill official duties, any American citizens, including permanent residents, who engage in communication or activities with the CSVN are considered a criminal offense, and may be arrested or prosecuted for offenses such as treason, collusion with the enemy, or providing false information when declaring immigration documents for U.S. citizenship. In the past, on February 16, 2014, President Thao Minh Quan, at the time serving as the Prime Minister, issued an announcement number 0001-16022014/TT/TTCSVN, requesting the establishment of a court to prosecute the crimes of the CSVN. However, due to the policy of forgiveness, compassion, and the spiritual revolution approach, which emphasizes education and lenient punishment, as well as limited human resources, the PNG-VN3-RVN, Provisional National Government of Vietnam, Third Republic, has only submitted a request to 3 international courts, including the International Criminal Court, ICC, the United States Federal Court, and the International Environmental Court, to prosecute the atrocities committed by the CSVN and the Chinese Communists. Subsequently, a response was received from the ICC stating that they would proceed, and the International Environmental Court issued ruling number ENC 201215 on April 14, 2021, demanding that the Chinese Communists, CC, and the CSVN compensate the plaintiff, President Thao Minh Quan, with the sum of $38 trillion. However, at present, the CSVN still allows for the infiltration, surveillance, abduction, interrogation, and manipulation of their own courts, orchestrated by their corrupt party members who are steeped in crimes. They fabricate severe verdicts to intimidate the morale of the populace and suppress the patriotic aspirations of the members within the PNGVN. Meanwhile, civilized nations, perhaps in an effort to appease CSVN to confront Communist China, have sent additional high-level leaders to Vietnam to bow, shake hands, and flatter the corrupt Communist Party members, deliberately turning a blind eye and refusing to address the grave human rights violations and the erosion of human dignity taking place in Vietnam. The CSVN arrests people without warrants, imprisons people without trial, and detains individuals without the need for court proceedings. So, does the civilized and free world need to have transactions with these criminal elements of the CSVN? Moreover, it seems that many people think that the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, has forgotten the sacrifice of 58,721 Americans in Vietnam, so he must endure cowardly and humiliation when meeting the so-called Prime Minister of the CSVN, who doesn't even bother raising the American flag to welcome him according to protocol. Tony, oh Tony! The trumpeter, oh the trumpeter! We thought that only the Communist Party members are ignorant and despicable, isn't it? If you only came to Vietnam to release one prisoner, Pham Thanh Nguyen, then why don't you mention the hundreds of others? If you bring disgrace to America like this, you might as well go home and tend to your wife's chickens. Therefore, we must advance measures to adapt according to the provisions of the law and, at the same time, reiterate the content of the announcement of the Imperial Duke, as follows. Respected compatriots, fellow countrymen, respected comrades and representatives of the National Congress of the PNGVN, respected intellectuals, patriots, and youth of Vietnam. 22 years ago and many times thereafter, the PNGVN has repeatedly stated that the communist ideology, CS, introduced by foreign forces led by Ho Chi Minh should have been eliminated long ago. However, because our people wrongly accepted, this disaster has existed until today. If we look at the truth and unite with each other, adopting the two principles of action, strike from within, shout from outside and surround from overseas, rise from within the country, then the communists must disintegrate. Strike from within means finding reasons to take to the streets in protest, when instructed by PNGVN, while attack from outside means that overseas supporters should use all available means of public information to support the movement. Surround from overseas means that funds should not be sent back to Vietnam, except in cases of urgent necessity. Instead, financial resources should be concentrated to support strong resistance groups within the country, allowing the potential for a rise from within the country to spread under the leadership of PNGVN, thus preventing chaotic situations. After nearly 40 years of occupying our entire country, the Communist Party and the so-called State of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam have become increasingly evident as a group that exploits the people and betrays the nation. They are cowardly towards enemies and cruel towards the people, demonstrating their incompetence, lack of ethics, and inability to govern the nation. Our country has vast seas, long rivers, ancient forests, green mountains, abundant oil and mineral resources, fertile land, and hard-working people. However, under the rule of the Communist Party, the majority of the population still lives in poverty, morals have declined, people have become indifferent, lacking responsibility, and there is a shortage of humane and compassion. 10 years ago, on February 16, 2013, with the purpose of assisting the people and saving the country, Imperial Duke filed a lawsuit at the International Criminal Court to deter the oligarchs of CSVN, demanding justice, fairness, honor, righteousness, and the recovery of assets for the people that have been robbed by them. The prosecution of these criminal leaders is a significant blow to the governing machinery of CSVN, but it may take several years to unfold. Meanwhile, the threat of Communist China's aggression looms nearby, yet these CSVN oligarchs, crippled by fear, act as puppets for the enemy. They not only refrain from openly defending the nation but also resort to brutal repression, oppression, and killings to eradicate the spirit and bodies of patriotic individuals, causing immense outrage among the people and discord between heaven and earth. More dangerously, the communist regime displays its weakness by allowing communist China to invade, capture, kill, and destroy Vietnamese assets, poison the Vietnamese people, and encroach upon and annex our coastal islands and territories in a covert manner. In order to protect the essence, vitality, and internal strength of the people, in their resistance against foreign aggression, the PNGVN has put forward the New Democracy Program, to dissolve the CSVN regime, and help to hand over the government in a peaceful manner, to save the country, secure the hearts of the people, and avoid the situation of flesh and blood internal fighting. But so far, the communist oligarchs have been stubborn, and have not awakened, making the country more confused. The Chinese claws have reached out, the decline is inevitable, and the lesson of Ukraine being invaded by Russia can reoccurrence in Vietnam. While this happens, many people are demanding that the PNGVN establish a criminal court, to prosecute the crimes of the 5 CSVN oligarchs, including Nguyen Phu Trong, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam; Truong Tan Sang, the President of the so-called Socialist Republic of Vietnam; Nguyen Tan Dung, the Prime Minister; Tran Le Dai Quang, the Minister of Public Security; Nguyen Sin Hung, the Chairman of the National Assembly. This court has 2 tasks as follows. 1. Investigation of crimes committed by the CSVN. Although the PNGVN has already collected numerous pieces of evidence of the crimes, the entire population still has the right to participate and continue sending all evidence, documents, and images of the crimes committed by the CSVN to the PNGVN. 2. Trial of criminals. A time. The court is scheduled to begin at 12 p.m. noon. On the 2nd of June, 2014, which corresponds to the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. This day is known as Plated Half Year, or Don Duong Festival, a traditional festival in Vietnam. It is also referred to as the Worm-Killing Festival, as it is a day to combat pests and eliminate harmful insects in the rice fields. B. Location. This court will take place at 3 proposed locations. 2 Nia Duong, 10800 Sierra Road, Adelanto, California, 92301. PNGVN Office, 1 Park Plaza, Irvine, California, 92614. Or at a convenient location in Southern California as suggested by the people. This court consists of 1 chief judge and 12 jury members. PNGVN is requested to invite patriotic Vietnamese lawyers and legal experts to participate voluntarily. The chief judge and jury members will be elected by the people. In case there are no available lawyers or legal experts, the Prime Minister of PNGVN will voluntarily take on the role of the chief judge, and PNGVN will appoint the jury members. If any of the 5 accused individuals mentioned above fail to contact the court, they will be considered absent and the trial will proceed without their presence. C. Enforcement. After announcing the verdict, PNGVN takes responsibility to invite brave and patriotic individuals to collaborate with the Internal Security Committee of PNGVN to establish a special enforcement squad to execute the court's orders. To ensure transparency, this decree will also be sent to all the accused individuals. The 5 aforementioned defendants are also informed of their right to remain silent. All their gestures, actions, and words can be used as evidence to convict them in court. The defendants understand that the purpose of this court is to fight against their crimes, which include leading the genocidal gang of CSVN, opposing humanity, seizing power, waging war, selling out the nation, looting assets, engaging in corruption, violating human rights, embezzling public funds, depleting national resources, and harming the livelihoods of the people. The defendants have the right to consult with their lawyers and are also informed of the following: A. The right to be judged by a presiding judge and a panel of jurors. B. The right to cross-examine all witnesses against them. C. The right to present evidence in court that is favorable to them or to testify on their own behalf, or if they choose, they have the right to remain silent. D. The right to a speedy and public trial. E. The right to have competent legal representation at all stages of the proceedings. F. The right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses against them. G. The right to resist coerced confessions. The aforementioned defendants are also notified that if they do not attend this court session, they will be tried in absentia. Currently, all decisions regarding the rights and future of the country are being controlled and manipulated by the puppet leaders of the Communist Party of Vietnam under the influence of China. The people throughout the country, in the South, Central, and North, have recognized this and are bravely rising up. They are expecting us to have more insight, self-determination, and strength to join hands, unite, and work together to eliminate the communist regime in Vietnam in order to help the country and rescue the people. In the past, as I had already obtained evidence that the leading group of the CSVN was nothing but a group of traitors and puppets, immediately after declaring my assumption of the Prime Minister position on February 16, 1991, I signed an important document and sent it to countries around the world, stating that I did not accept and recognize any document, treaty, contract, or agreement signed by the CSVN and the so-called Socialist Republic of Vietnam with any individual or any country. When the PNGVN was still in existence and received strong support from the United States government and the Vietnamese people, the effectiveness of these documents increased in value. It can be considered the most concise and feasible method to neutralize the selfish ambitions of the traitorous oligarchs of the CSVN, to regain territory, including the Spratly and Parasil Islands. The PNGVN was established by 3 generations of Vietnam and has experienced 3 U.S. presidents who have official correspondence. If we unite and work together, the PNGVN will naturally become a strong and righteous force with sufficient legitimacy to dissolve the communist regime in Vietnam. This will return the power to decide the fate and future of the country to the people through an internationally monitored general election. The PNGVN's principle and compassionate policy of quit communism to remain Vietnamese, Vietnamese do not kill Vietnamese remains unchanged. PNGVN plans to temporarily take over the governance of the country in order to organize the general election and continue to maintain health insurance and provide pensions for veterans, officials, civil servants, and disabled veterans of the Republic of Vietnam and Socialist Republic of Vietnam. This will be done for those who support or participate in the struggle to dissolve the regime of CSVN, and provide monthly allowances for those who are weak, disabled, and the families of the deceased of the Republic of Vietnam and Socialist Republic of Vietnam. PNGVN will also return lands and properties that were illegally seized by CSVN to religious organizations, associations, and individuals. The national government, though temporary, has been recognized as a legitimate authority by key leaders such as President Bill Clinton, President George W. Bush, General Colin Powell, and various officials of the United States. These presidents have also sent numerous correspondences to me as the Prime Minister, inviting cooperation in democratic processes and global security. Currently, the so-called state of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, led by the Communist Party of Vietnam to rob the government, has been manipulated and controlled by the Communist Chinese, so it is completely unqualified to represent the entire Vietnamese people. Our country possesses enormous oil and gas reserves, ranking among the largest in the world in terms of onshore resources. These reserves serve as a crucial key to unlocking the current deadlock state within our homeland. If the PNGVN receives strong support and backing from the people, the government will gain an advantageous position in its struggle to reclaim national sovereignty. This will result in a better, prosperous life for the Vietnamese people, who will benefit from the profits generated by oil exploration and other precious resources. However, if we remain passive and fail to utilize the status of the PNGVN to receive support from the United States and our allies, to engage in negotiations and exchanges, then the precious resources bestowed upon our nation by a higher power, by the divine, may not be recovered and could potentially become a great disaster due to the ambitions and attempts of foreign powers to seize or exploit them. The power to decide lies with the entire nation, and the government is merely a tool for implementation. I have the heart, and each of us has the same heart. However, how much spread is up to our own righteous and wise decisions. Only we can save our own country. Those who have a heart for the nation, join the PNGVN. Those who truly feel compassion for the homeland, support the PNGVN. Those who genuinely want to eradicate the communist regime in Vietnam, collaborate with the PNGVN. Courage must be the foremost responsibility of the Vietnamese people, working in coordination with the PNGVN, to dissolve the communist regime in our homeland. The people are precious, and the will of the people is the will of heaven. The PNGVN has made the decision on this crucial matter and is ready to obey the just orders of the entire nation. I always believe in the Almighty, the Supreme Being, the Divine, and follow the will of the people, relying on the love for our country from esteemed individuals, together with the strong bond of national justice, of the warriors, generals, deputies, members, comrades, and the unwavering spirit of PNGVN, 3rd RVN, along with the intellectuals, heroes, and the young generation of Vietnam full of goodwill, courage, and the officials, military personnel, and CS party members who are awakening and standing with the people. With the powerful support of our compatriots and the international community, we will together eliminate the national disaster of the communist regime to lead the country towards glory, where everyone can enjoy freedom, democracy, peace, and pride, standing shoulder to shoulder with friends from around the world. Respectfully yours, Thao Minh Huan. Signature. Today, Prime Minister Thao Minh Huan has been elected as the President of 3rd RVN, by millions of referendum supporters, and the 3rd RVN's constitution has been recognized and honored, declaring him as the Imperial Duke. We have successfully sued the Communist Party of Vietnam and China, winning a settlement of $38 trillion, as ruled by the International Environmental Court, case number ENC 201215 on April 14, 2021. However, the stubborn oligarchs of the CSVN still refuse to dissolve and return power to the people. They continue to employ covert tactics, surveillance, abductions, imprisonment, and harassment against patriots and members of PNGVN, 3rd RVN. Therefore, the government must establish a criminal court to prosecute the crimes committed by these defiant CSVN oligarchs and hold them accountable for their illegal actions. However, over time, there have been some changes as well. Names such as Tran Dai Quang, Truong Tan Sang, Nguyen Sin Hung, and Nguyen Tan Dung have either passed away or their political positions have become less prominent. Therefore, the list of criminal offenders is now replaced by the following 4 individuals. Nguyen Phu Trong, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, CSVN. Vo Van Thuong, Chairman of the so-called State of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Pham Minh Chinh, Prime Minister and Chairman of the so-called National Assembly of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. To Lam, Minister of Public Security. This court also has 2 main tasks. 1/investigation of crimes committed by CSVN. Although PNGVN has already gathered substantial evidence, the entire population still has the right to participate and submit to PNGVN any legal evidence, documents, or photographs related to the crimes committed by the CSVN. 2/trial of criminals. A time. The court is scheduled to commence at 11 a.m. on June 22, 2023, which corresponds to the 5th day of the 5th lunar month in the year of the Quy Mão, Plated Half-Year or Don Duong Festival. It is a traditional festival in Vietnam known as the Killing Insects Festival, a day when people engage in activities to catch and eliminate harmful insects in the fields. It symbolizes the eradication of the pests that both the CSVN and the current regime have become. B. Location. The court is proposed to take place at one of the following 2 suggested locations. 2 Nia Duong, 10800 Sierra Road, Adelanto, California 92301. Or at a location in Southern California, as suggested by the majority of the people for convenience. This court consists of 1 chief judge and 12 jury members. The PNGVN is required to invite patriotic Vietnamese lawyers and legal experts to participate voluntarily. The chief judge and jury members will be elected by the people. In the event that no lawyer or legal expert meets the requirements, the PNGVN, 3rd RVN will appoint the chief judge and jury members according to legal provisions. If the 4 accused individuals mentioned above do not appear in court or make contact within 30 days, they will be tried in absentia. Standing office, PNGVN.
Đào Minh Quân anh hùng cứu nguy dân Việt, quên thân mình ngày ngày chung lo việc nước. Một lời thề vì dân chiến đấu, không ngại ngùng vì nước hy sinh cho muôn đời tổ quốc quang vinh. Việt Nam Đào Minh Quân, dân đang chờ ngày vui no ấm, xóa tan bao lỗi lầm than. Việt Nam Đào Minh Quân, xây cơ đồ hồn thiên sông núi.
sáng khắp địa cầu.